He was in the wrong place at the wrong time. It was an unjustified, brutal beating of a New Zealander by the Queensland Police, a beating that destroyed Warren Baxter's life as he knew it. That was Brisbane back in 1985, and that's where it started. To this day, there's been no end, and 14 years on, Warren Baxter is still fighting for justice. In 1985, this is 14 years ago, 1985 in Queensland, Wellington man Warren Baxter got a savage beating. It was a beating so severe, he's been unable to work full-time ever since. It affected him so terribly. The beating was dished out by the Queensland, in those days, the notorious Queensland Police in Brisbane. Warren Baxter had committed no crime. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time. There was a misunderstanding and there was excessive brutality by police. The beating should never have occurred, and Warren Baxter would not have a case at all if Chanel 7 hadn't had a camera there right at the time to capture the whole nasty business, but it did. And the beating changed Warren's life. He has nightmares to this day. Warren Baxter, he was a painter with an expanding business in Brisbane. He's now become an itinerant, eking out an existence around Wellington. And after all of this time, Queensland Criminal Justice Commission has released the television footage of the beating. And when we see this, we can see why Warren is still fighting for justice for something that happened so long ago. The pictures are quite graphic, you decide. This from Chris Wright.
Just take your hands off.
The day in Brisbane that would change Warren Baxter's life forever. That was 1985. Now it's easy to dismiss Warren Baxter and his dog Vok, living in an old house truck and dividing their time between different places to park around Wellington. But Warren Baxter's life was once far, far better. He used to renovate mansions like this in Brisbane. That was until the 15th of May, 1985. In anyone's view, this is a severe beating, 3-on-1. When police realised they were being filmed, they quickly forced the camera away.
Get off the bloody property altogether.
A hire firm had claimed Warren and his dog had prevented them taking back some hire equipment from the house the previous day. The hire firm said Warren owed them money for it. Warren believed it was the homeowner's responsibility. When the footage was aired, it created a political storm in Queensland. The future state premier, Wayne Goss, led a call for an investigation.
If that's how they behave in the presence of a film crew, what would have happened if the crew hadn't been there?
The police then charged Warren Baxter. There were 10 charges, including serious assault, possession of a firearm and deprivation of liberty. He was later acquitted of all of these charges. At the time, the then Queensland Police Commissioner, Terry Lewis, defended the police action, saying that policemen were entitled to use sufficient force to overcome any violence against them. It's hard to see any violence being used against police here, and later Commissioner Lewis was himself jailed following the Fitzgerald Inquiry into corruption. Denied legal aid in Queensland, Warren Baxter couldn't afford to launch proceedings against the police. The police's own investigation exonerated officers from using excessive force, but so concerned was the Queensland Criminal Justice Commission that 8 years later they ordered an independent investigation by a senior magistrate.
He effectively, in his report, said that he disagreed with the police conclusion in light of the video tape of the incident, and I think used the expression that Warren had suffered a gross injustice.
Phil DeVette has represented Warren Baxter for years as his solicitor. He wants to see justice done for his former client.
Warren, I think, is a good person. He has trouble relating to people, and I think that's probably to a large extent the effect of this incident back in 1985.
Phil DeVette has written to every member of the Queensland Parliament in Brisbane to push for Warren's case to be reopened. Though he was hopeful, his request now appears to have been stalled in the office of Queensland's Attorney General. But the nightmare of May 15, 1985 will never leave him.
So it was serious, all right. As a result of the beating, Warren Baxter had one of his ribs removed, and he is in constant pain.
Though the dark days of the Queensland Police are supposed to be over, Warren Baxter has never received an apology. Now he wants that apology. He wants compensation.